So I guess Wish is the movie that Disney was waiting over 100 years to make. That's some very ballsy marketing on their part because as a Disney adult, I mean, I was hyped to go see any Disney movie anyway, but seeing as how this is sort of their quote-unquote culmination of 100 years of animation, that's putting Wish on a gigantic pedestal of hype. Our story here revolves around 17-year-old Asha, voiced here by Ariana DuBose. She makes a wish so powerful that it's answered by a cosmic force. This turns into a little ball of boundless, adorable energy called Star. And with Star's help, Asha must save her kingdom from King Magnifico, voiced here by Chris Pine, and ultimately prove that when the will of one courageous human connects with the magic of the stars, wondrous things can happen. Now, just point blank, let me just tell you this much. Wish is a very cute movie. Wish definitely had some moments that made me smile as the Disney adult that I am and the lifelong Disney fan that I will be. There are some absolutely wondrous things that you can see on the big screen. And it's done in a way only the Disney Animation Studios can. 60 some odd movies later, after the release of Snow White in the 30s, yeah, Disney still got it. And I think the biggest praise that I can give this movie is actually the different animation style here. You have sort of the same character modeling that you've been seeing from Disney from the past decade, but now you have a very comic book matte finish to it. And this is kind of a similar issue I was coming across with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish when that came out last year. Yeah, it was kind of jarring to see a different animation style, but that just means that technology is evolving. And even though Wish is technically a big culmination for Disney, it's showing you that these animators are still evolving with the times, and I am very hopeful for Disney's future. With the very colorful imagery and the beautiful framing of these characters, with some really fun symbolism and an abundance of Easter eggs, Wish always gives you some great imagery to look at. It also gives you some great things to listen to. The songs in this movie are freaking awesome. The title song, This Wish, Ariana DeBose knocks it completely so far out of the park, it sent shivers up and down my spine. And I love the villain song as well. I've been waiting so long for a great villain song in a Disney movie. Here we get This Is the Thanks I Get. And yeah, you definitely have a very fun abundance of songs. You have your exposition song at the beginning, very similar to Encanto. But in terms of the soundtrack, I don't really have much to complain about here. There's something for every Disney fan to enjoy. The voice acting is also very good. Ariana DeBose, once again, is playing off the momentum that she had from West Side Story. And I think she brings a lot of hope and joy to this part. It's a very interesting heroine also because she never goes around saying that she's this princess, and she never goes on this big tangent about how she isn't a princess when she actually is. I mean, you've seen so many Disney movies out there where these female leads are saying, no, I'm not a typical princess. I'm not a princess at all. You don't really get anything like that from Asha, and I think that makes her a very fascinating character. The villain in this movie is also so freaking fun. He's voiced here by Chris Pine, and especially when he starts singing his stuff, you can't really tell that it's Chris Pine. You can just look at Magnifico and just see this bad guy here. And again, give Disney credit for going back to basics. It would be very, very easy for them to pull off the big villain reveal cliche that I despise. Mainly because over the past decade or so, Disney has been so reliant on that for a big plot twist. But no, here you know that he's the villain right away. You kind of know a baseline of what his motivations are. And I think he's got a very bombastic and arrogant presence about him. Chris Pine was awesome in this. Dare I say, he was Magnifico. It's a really cool character, man. It's almost like if you turned Albus Dumbledore to the dark side. But Magnifico is actually sort of where my issues with Wish start to come about, because believe it or not, this isn't a perfect Disney movie. I would say at best, in terms of ranking it, it's mid-tier Disney for me. Because even though you kind of get a baseline of Magnifico's motivations and all that jazz, it's very surface-level character development. Like, there are things that the movie will mention about his character, and I can tell that the movie really wants to take a deeper dive into his motivations, and I would have loved to have learned more about his background and why he is the way he is. But no, it's just very basic character development here, very par for the course. And I feel like that's because Wish wants to be this really captivating story between two conflicting forces fighting over what's good for this town that they're living in. And when the movie is focusing on that, I think it's really interesting with all these great songs that are coming into the play. You can tell that this movie really wants to be something different than what it actually is. And the final products, to me, I hate to say this, the movie feels very much more like a flex than a story. You know what Wish is to me? It's almost like Disney Mad Libs. It's almost like the developers were kind of sitting around a table and they're like, okay, hey you, give me a classic Disney movie. Snow White? Okay, yep, we're gonna make her friends, all 7 of the dwarves. And you, give me another classic Peter Pan? Alright, we're just gonna make the pixie dust the source of power here. And we're good. Yeah, these Easter eggs are almost too blatant and too on the nose. And while the Easter eggs were fun in the sense, it kind of made me wish I was watching one of those older Disney classics. You know, the ones that they're paying tribute to. And that is detrimental to the success of Wish as a story, because my friend was saying this as we were leaving the theater. He was like, what was Wish really trying to say? What is going to be so socially relevant about Wish that we'll even remember it by the time next Thanksgiving rolls around? Like, it just felt to me and my group of friends that watched it, it was like, yeah, it's like an hour 45-minute commercial for how amazing Disney has been over the past century, which they have. But part of me kind of feels like they sacrificed a story that would have been really sweet, and better yet, a story that I feel like would be very socially relevant for years and years and years down the line. And they kind of shoved that off to the side to kind of pat themselves on the back. I don't know, I guess what I'm saying is, as a Disney aficionado and an avid Disney fanboy, like, I expect way more from them. But moral of the story is, I think Wish is a good movie. It's a cute movie. I don't know if I'd rewatch it as much as a lot of the other more recent ones. I'd rather rewatch Frozen definitely over this movie any day of the week. I'd rather rewatch Zootopia over this one. Oh man, Wish doesn't even come close to topping Zootopia in my book. But I think the hero, the villain, the very adorable Star sidekick, oh my god, I didn't even talk about Star. This little thing had my theater gushing. And again, I love that Disney was willing to risk a different animation style for this thing. It almost looks like a Studio Ghibli character more than a Disney character. And that's really cool of them. I mean, kudos for trying new things, animators. But yeah, I just think Wish overall is a very compromised feature film that wants to be something greater than it actually is. But the fact that the reins are being pulled back on this story for the fact that they're patting the studio on the back, I don't know. I mean, I love Disney and all that. I would say that Wish is nowhere near the pinnacle of what they're all about, though. I'm gonna give Wish a B. Regardless of what I think of this, happy 100th birthday, Disney. Let me know what you thought of Wish down in the comments section below. What has been your favorite Disney animated movie? What are your top 5 and your top 10? Sound off with your list down in the comments. Because I love discussing all things geeky, all things Disney over here on this channel. It's a great community of film lovers and entertainment lovers and Disney lovers out here, and y'all are invited to the party. So do consider subscribing on your way out and tap that thumbs up button while you're at it. Thanks again so much for watching, guys. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.